Alrighty, I'll go ahead and kind of record this video just in case I do post it to my YouTube. This is round 2 on the first LDMOS construction here for a buddy named Chris, and basically he absolutely loved the build. The only thing he was having an issue with is the power supply that I use for this unit is a Meanwell RSP2000, and the fans that are in the back of that thing sounds like a wind turbine when you key up the box. As soon as current is pulled from this supply, the fans just go at full speed. Here's an example. Okay, no fans, you know, the case fans aren't even hooked up since the top's off. These are the fans in the power supply. Alright, that's just idle. That's just idle. And when I key the box and pull from them, oh yeah. So you get the picture. They get quite loud, especially combined with the 4 AC fans on top. So Chris sent the box back to me and wanted me to see if I could somehow slow those fans down, or what he really would have liked for me to have been able to do is just add a variable to the fans, just like I did for the fans on top, so he could turn them down as he wishes. So and honestly, that's one thing I've learned when you're dealing with custom equipment and stuff. Me being the builder, I can always choose my setting that's good for me, meaning the loudness of my fans, etc. But sometimes, or pretty much all the time, it's better to let the customer choose for themselves how loud they want their fans to be ran and stuff like that. As long as you're not dealing with somebody that's a beginner. Chris is nowhere near a beginner when it comes to running linear amplifiers. But, you know, if it was a beginner, they may turn them down where the fans aren't running. They're sitting there and they're going to heat the box up and blow their box. But, so it took a bit of work, Chris, because as soon as I'd done the modification, the power supply didn't want to run. It was throwing something off, and what it was the internal sensor. So luckily, I got absolutely LUCKY. I was able to find a modification that somebody had done to a RSP1000, because they were wanting to do the same exact thing. They were wanting to add a external variable speed controller to their fans. And although they wasn't exactly doing what I was doing, they were more or less wanting to just turn the fans down half speed, and they were wanting to use a controller to set that and just leave it be. So they were really wanting to use resistors. That was the main problem, is when you do that, it throws off the internal circuitry. So there's a simple modification I had to do. Took me a little while to figure it out, but we got it done for you, bud. So this right here is now your controller for your fans inside the power supply. Okay, and this does have an on and off. I never suggest that you run this with the fans in the off position like that. This is just the type of controller I'm using. It's actually a variable voltage controller is what it is. But so I would never do that. I would at least let them fans be running, because the way this supply is really built and the fans are built in it is for this supply to be possibly be given something current at all times. You know, to be literally given some sort of current to something at all times, and possibly higher current. You know, like a lot of these power supplies are ran on computer servers where they're running different currents, amounts of current at different times when different things are being brought up, but it's, you know, using some amount of current at all times. So you know, as long as you just keep them fans spinning, man, and just make sure that, because, you know, even if you turn them down pretty low, you still got air flowing through it. And also the cool thing about it, this thing is protected inside and out. That's the good thing about, that is one positive thing about going with these expensive power supplies. I mean, this thing costs like $380, you know, and you can get a power supply for $60 that give you the same power, if not more, but you don't get all the extra protection and extra stuff like that. And mostly you don't get the compact size either, the smallness of it. But if this thing overruns, it's too hot, it's going to cut off. It has, you know, it has all the protection circuitry when it comes to overheating and all that. So, you know, keep that in mind. Like I said, I still would not run it with the fans off. At least keep them running. But I will go ahead and demonstrate that. Next thing he wanted me to do is he wanted me, the way I had it done before, because I really did not want to drill into this case, because we had thought about adding this current meter after the fact that I'd pretty much had the amp built. So what I did is I put a little plug right here in the back, which is right here, so where he can plug his current meter, his amp meter, externally, and just take a look at his amperage, make sure he's not overdriving the amplifier or anything like that. Well, I had me a little fun time doing that, I'm not gonna lie to you. I went out and bought a hole saw, which are supposed to be the exact diameter, you know, of my best guess, because these particular meters right here do come from China, okay? So you know how it is in China, everything ain't measured exactly the same in China as it is here in the US. I did my best estimated guess, and come to find out, the hole saw was the right size. But one thing that I did not think take into account, because I don't use hole saws a lot, is once you start drilling, that saw could have a tad bit of wobble to it, meaning sometimes, or at least that I've noticed using metal or aluminum, that even though you've got that specific size hole saw, it's going to make the hole a little bit bigger, especially to pop through this aluminum with the type of drill I have, which ain't a super powerful drill. As soon as I started drilling on that thing, I noticed it. I thought I'd done messed up the whole box. And I got lucky. What I went ahead and did at that point is I went ahead and got me a small hole saw, this one right here, and just popped it in and popped this small hole through it, and then I sat there and I worked with it for almost 4 to 5 hours last night. I am not lying to you. I have a lot of Dremel accessories and stuff, but I have not quite found the absolute 100% best Dremel accessory to use when trying to shape aluminum. Maybe somebody can fill me in on that. I was pretty much using sand wheels and stuff like that. You can't really use a sand wheel because it gets the aluminum stuck on it, but I was using the ones you replace the sandpaper wheels. I went through about 15 of them to get the job done, and I had to sit there and work with it and work with it and work with it and work with it. And I mean, I will just have to say I got very lucky. I got very lucky because that's what I was worried about, is this going in here and you being able to see, you know, where it had drilled too big. And that's what I was so scared about. So that's what I had to do, is work with it. And just kept working with it till I got it perfect. I sat there with my vacuum and literally set the vacuum right here, just like this right here, and clamped it down so it was sitting right there in front of that hole, sucking in everything that I was, you know, all the debris and everything, and it still didn't get it all. There was still debris inside the box I had to suck up. I was not happy with doing that, but I know you wanted it done, so I went ahead and done it. And guess what? In the process, well, for one thing, I don't have another 50 amp meter here, and I thought I did, but I don't know why. I could have swore I had 2 of them. That happens sometimes. So what I was going to do is put this 100 amp meter in here for you, and if you didn't really like it and wanted to put a 50 amp in there, you know, just to put yours in when you get to the house. Well, I'm sitting here, you know, using this meter and kind of, you know, doing this right here to make sure I'm drilling good, make sure it ain't, you know, just keep sizing it. I drop it once, like that right there. I can't believe she didn't jump up when I did that. I dropped it once and picked it up, and I'm like, oh, thank God, you know, I didn't hurt it. So I just kept on, you know, doing my thing, you know, just putting it down, doing this, replacing the sand, the accessories or whatever to the putting the sand. I don't know what you dang call them things. These things right here. I don't know what you call them. Sandpaper wheels or something. I dropped it again. Dropped it again. But then that time when I picked it up, it looked like that right there. And it's broke. So I can hear something in there moving around. So I was like, good God the money. Yeah, it only cost about $3 or $4, but still. That kind of messed me up because I don't have another meter. The only other meter I got here that's a 75 millivolt meter is a 15 amp. I actually found this meter and it's used, and I didn't know if it worked or not. It don't. A buddy of mine gave it to me, so I just put this meter in here just so you can see what it looks like. I'm gonna let you make the decision what you want to do about that. It's 100% simple to take these out, meaning when it gets to your house, you know, you could take the 50 amp that you got over there and install it. It's simple. If you see, let's get in here. There's actually solder lugs that I have on here. So these wires just solder to it. And basically you just got to try it, do trial and error with this. You solder them to it. If the amperage ain't working, reverse them and you're good to go. That's about all you can do with this. I hadn't quite figured out which ones pop. Maybe I need to sit down and play around with that one day. But you know, it's just one of them quick that don't work, switch it around. You got a 50-50 chance. And then of course down here it bolts in with simple bolts like that right there, you see. So it's very simple. I'll leave it up to you though. I know you probably ain't wanting to wait a long time any longer to get this thing back, but if you would like to send that meter to me and let me go ahead and throw it in for you and then ship it back, I can. But I just want to go ahead and put that in there, or you can do it when it gets to the house. So the third thing is, since for now we got this plug back here, sorry, I'm using this camera, this new camera I got, thanks to my buddy Ben over there at BRB Electronics. He donated it, which is highly appreciated. I appreciate it, bud. Got this plug left right here, okay? So something, you know, just didn't have a hole to fill there. It was like, you know, how about if I just do a manual keyer? You know, so now Chris can go ahead and plug in a foot pedal if he wants to, or one of them hand keyers I see that Howell makes. And it's very simple, man. If you take a look at the this right here is a stereo 1/4 inch plug. Not in a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is bigger. 1/8 inch plug, like, you know, regular small plug. All right, the tip and the ring of the plug, you touch them together to amp keys. It's that simple. Touch them together to amp keys. One wire is soldered to the ground, to the case. The other wire is soldered to the negative lead of the coil of the relay. So once you clamp them together, that relay gets ground, you're keyed, you're ready to go. So you can get you a foot keyer, a stomp keyer, whatever you want to call it. If it's got an RCA cable on it, just cut that thing off. Just solder, like I said, it's just touching, so you can solder each wire that you want. One to the tip, one to the ring. Okay, I like to use stereo just to keep that thing away from the case. Another way you could do it, you could use a mono. I could have used a mono plug and, you know, but I just like, that's just my style. I like to use stereo plugs, keep it isolated from the case. All right, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate this for you. Go ahead and turn it back up. See? Now watch this. This is just idling. I'm sure you can hear it. All the way off. And to do this, it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires total. I went ahead and brought the wires up, and they're just flowing through the supply. They come out down there. Probably can't see it. There's your new variable fan controller now. So you got two fan controllers right above from each other right there. So he took 6 wires. So you got 6 wires coming out of here. It's got 4 wires coming in. 1 wire, the power and ground for each fan. And then coming back, I've just got 2 wires going back to feed the fans. I didn't really want to, because on the board inside here, there's 2 separate connections, even though they are parallel together. I just felt better just to do it that way, so it wouldn't be as messy inside. I know it sounds like it would be messier with more wires, but the way the fans are apart like that, if I would have just brought each wire over together and put another piece of it, with the heat shrink I would have to use, it made it more bulkier. So it was better for me just to do it the way that I did it, and it don't matter as long as it works. Another thing I went ahead and did, man, that made me feel a little bit better, I noticed this this cable right here, which is going to the negative 10 dB attenuator. I went ahead and tie strapped that down. It was kind of flopping around. I didn't really like that. I guess I just didn't notice that before. You know, whenever you get to look at something second, sometimes you see something that can make something even better. But you know, just to make me feel better, since you know it's going to be shipping for another time. You know, so it ain't sitting there wobbling around and will break off or something out here. You know, that ain't what you want. But I went ahead and tie strapped that down. So here we go, man. So let's say we're all the way up now, right? Let's turn down right there and see how loud it is. Good. All right. Let's see how loud it is right there. Oh yeah. I just figured out something. See, I knew I keyed just in. Sorry about that. The dang battery died on this thing. I just hadn't changed it in a couple of days. But anyway, I keyed just a second ago and wasn't getting any output. And I looked, and remember, you noticed in the camera when I went down right here to show you something, you noticed how that light right there was red? That means the power supply was in protection. Okay, I just figured out something. For this to work properly, okay, and I know this may get on your nerves, but you can play around with it. It may not be that big of a deal for you, but it appears that, I believe what happened is, let's go ahead and test it right now. I think if you have this turned off or turned down and turn the power supply on, it goes into protection. You see, like right now, it's all the way up. Doing right there what it was doing before, about 900 watts. And that's just hitting it with my bench radio on the negative 10 dB attenuator. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Because, you know, that's set up for your, I believe it's for your 40 or 50 watt radio. I can't remember now. But anyway, alright. So let's test this out. Just while it's on, I'm going to turn it down. Oh, she's still working fine. Ain't as loud. Oh dear. Alright. Turn it down some more. Oh dear. Still working. See, I think that's what it was. It's really low now, as you can hear. Oh dear. Oh yeah, so that's actually, I say that's probably about perfect. But let me turn the power supply off. Alright, and I'm going to turn the power supply back on. I think if it doesn't see that the fans are are spinning fast enough when you turn it on. It's got that extra protection. Let's see. No, maybe it's just because it's off. Yeah, so it just does it when it's off. So that's one thing you've got to remember, bud, is do not turn the power supply on with this fan switch turned off, or it will go into protection. See? I like that. I actually like that. I actually like that. So you can't run it with it off. So that's good. So if them fans quit spinning, that power supply is going to go into protection. I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, so we're going to turn it back on, but with it very low. See, that's too low. That's too low. Let's turn it up a little bit louder. A little bit louder. A little bit stronger. Alright. Turn it off. You gotta let it reset. It's got a little dead spot in there when you turn it all the way down and turn it up just a little bit. It still ain't spinning real fast. It's got a little dead spot right there. Alright, this should work perfect now. Yep, see, there we go. I actually like that. I mean, that is one good thing about having a more high-end power supplies. It's got all that extra protection, and that shows you right there that it works. If those fans are not spinning, or they're not spinning fast enough, meaning even though I had it turned off here and I had it on just a little bit, the fans were spinning, but they wasn't spinning fast enough for the power supply to recognize that it was working. So you got to at least have them fans spinning just good enough or where that power supply is going to stay in protection. I really do like that. I really do like that. I'm not sure if these other power supplies that I'm going to be using for the duals have all that extra protection or not. They're servo supplies, and they do have quite a bit of protection. They're built like tanks, but I don't know if they get that type of protection. I'm going to have to slow them fans down too. Them things sound like twice as bad as this. You key them things up, good God, you think your house is about to start lifting up off the ground. I ain't kidding you, man. So anyway, there you go, big brother. I appreciate you hanging in there with me, Chris. And I relocated your temp LED right here. If you remember, it was right here. Like I told you, I didn't really feel too safe about drilling in between this and that. That would not have worked out too good for me. So what I went ahead and did, just use the hole where that temp LED was for my pilot hole and just move that right there. I could have put it right here, but I didn't want to have to add any more wire to the blue wire right here. So got it right there for you, man. So I'll go ahead and let you watch this, man. Get back with me, let you know what you want me to do. I gotta get started on this quad over here, big brother. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye. 73rds. I absolutely love these AC fans. I actually got these fans from my buddy Real Deal. If he's watching this thing, man, shout out to you, buddy. I wish I'd have bought a lot more from him. I really love to be able to give the customer the ability to adjust their fan speed, because I mean, these things when they're wide open, it's too much. The air that comes out of this box is amazing. Go ahead and get this control and turn it on a little bit higher here. Got done running it a little bit and got too much on the hammer there, and Then got done talking out there to South Africa, or the island of Curaçao, or somewhere crazy out there, man. You done got on the wind, you know, on the hammer a little bit too long, and this temp light's on. You got heat inside the box. You can just turn that fan controller all the way up like that right there and walk away for a little bit and let that thing cool down. It will cool down pretty quick, I'll tell you that. Woo! I love it. Look at that. Now you can hear the fans in the power supply. Now you can't. I love to have control over fans and stuff. You just got to know your amperage and know your current. You dang sure don't want a fan controller getting too hot. The way I like to do it is use a fan controller that's built way higher than it needs to be. And a good way to test it, hook a fan controller up to the amount of fans you want to do. Turn it all the way down to the fans off. See how hot it gets. If it gets too hot, don't use it. These right here, both of these fan controllers, I can turn them down to the fans are off and it doesn't even change temperature. And that's saying something too for the DC. Alright, DC, by the way, them fans on the back of the power supply, they're pulling about an amp. 0.5 amps per fan. Alright, we'll see you. I just wanted to show that, man. I love them fans, man, on top. We'll see you. Bye-bye.